Hi, it's Allsopp here from tpatennis.com. Today we're going to talk about how I was able to help this lady go from this forehand in the before video to this much improved forehand a few minutes later. So let's take a look at why this forehand is technically better and how she was able to achieve this. And we will start by looking at the contact point. You can see that on contact, you can see a little wobble there as she goes through the shot. That's because she's not very strong, or she's not in a strong position on contact. The arm is a little bit out to the side, so that hand and the arm aren't really behind the shot. So she's not going to have that leverage. Imagine a ball coming really fast. You try and get the hand and the arm right behind the shot so you can be stable and strong as that ball's impacting your racket. Because of this, she ends up swinging a lot from the shoulder, and you can see here how everything's in a straight line out to the target, and it was in a straight line here pretty much. So there's not a lot of racket speed, there's not a lot of strength, everything's from the shoulder and from the forearm, and obviously the racket's traveling faster than the elbow and the hand just because it's a bigger radius, but she's not really generating that racket speed. When you think about racket speed, you think about power, but it's also to allow you to have a smooth and effortless swing where you can move the racket freely through the shot. So as she gets to this point here, let's imagine she was wearing a wristwatch on her right wrist. Her opponent would be able to see that, and the strings that she hit the ball with are now facing the back fence. So she's kind of scooping the ball, or just kind of dragging it around her body. And to compensate for that, she's kind of running through the shot to give herself a little bit of power, because there's not a lot of power to be gained from what she's doing here. Now, if we compare this to the second video, you can see that on contact, she's a lot stronger. The hand and the arm are behind the shot, so she's able to absorb the impact. You can see here how the racket's not wobbling. It's not deviating, a lot stronger contact, and this allows for a little more margin for error because you can see how the racket is able to go through the ball for a little bit longer. Now, the strings don't have to face the court and the ball forever like this, but it's definitely helpful for it to go through there without wobbling. You'll see all the pros where that racket stays very stable through the hit. Now, at this point, what I was trying to get her to do is to turn the racket head over. And it's not really a wristy shot, a lot of it's from the forearm, but you can see how she's so relaxed as she does this now because the racket can move freely. And one tip that I give to get this feeling quite quickly is for her to turn the racket over and pretend she's got a wristwatch on her right wrist where she can tell the time. Remember in the last clip, her opponent could see the wristwatch. Here she's turned the racket head over, which allows the racket head to come through a little bit quicker, a little bit smoother. Everything's moving sort of, obviously it's a very synchronized shot where everything's moving together, but the tip of the racket's moving a lot faster than the hand, and the hand's moving a lot faster than the elbow, and the shoulder's not really involved as much as it was in the previous shot. So this is something that I like to throw out there as a tip. I have a colleague friend of mine who's a good tennis coach who asks his players sometimes when needed to create a box here. You can see from the forearm, from the top of the arm here, the forearm and the racket at the side, it's kind of creating a box. So that allows things to come through a little bit quicker as well. But I really like the wristwatch. It gets the hand to turn over quite quickly, and it's a stable and solid, consistent shot where the strings continue to really face the target, not only here, but pretty much all the way through the shot. The strings of her opponent can still see the racket head now. So as much as she's moving the racket a lot quicker and turning the hand over, it's actually a more stable, solid, stronger, and consistent shot with that margin for error. There are two things that I would like to work on in the near future to make this forehand even better, and that would be one, where she's looping the racket rather than taking it back and forth along the same line. Now, I don't get obsessed with this. I know a lot of people start doing the loop instantly. I prioritize a lot of other things before I prioritize the loop. But it does allow you to just move the racket a little bit quicker and to generate a little bit more rhythm on the shot than taking it back and forth in the same direction. The other thing would be her rotating her hips a little bit from this position to turn those hips into the shot. And what that'll do is not only provide a little bit more of a coordinated shot, better kinetic chain where you're involving all of your body in the shot, it sets the racket and the contact point out in front. So by turning the hips, you get the ball in front of you a lot more comfortably, whereas right now, because the hips are kind of frozen, there is a tendency for her to get the ball a little bit further behind her. Now if we just watch this next clip, you can see myself hitting, and you will see from this position, it's a coordinated move where the hips and the racket pretty much move at the same time up until contact, where the ball gets out in front, and I get this strong position a lot easier once I've moved my hips. From this point, they don't have to move too much, but you just let that racket go, and you make sure you've got that wristwatch staring you right in the face. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you would like me to analyze one of your strokes, you can send me a video through tpatennis.com. I will review the video, and then we can analyze it together online using screen sharing software, where I can really help you to understand what you need to do to get your shot and game to the next level. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.